Hey there YouTube, just back with the remake of the PHP CMS tutorial, and last time we left off with basically just listing the posts in our database on a page, and in this tutorial we're going to extend upon that, and we're going to make the basics of our administration area. And in the last tutorial I basically just made a directory with the administration files in it where people could go in and delete things, but there was no way to protect it. You'd go in, you could just go in and change anything. In this tutorial, we're going to modify that to be better. We're going to use a basic login page, and once we log in, we're going to be able to go in, edit posts, delete posts, create posts, change categories, and things like that. So for this tutorial, we're going to focus on creating the actual admin area itself, and then making a login page for it. So without any more wasting time, let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we're just going to go ahead and create a folder in our site root called admin, and we'll just copy our includes folder and paste it in here because we're going to need that later down the road. Okay, there's that. Close that. And we're just going to go ahead and create our files. We're just going to make one called index.php, make one called login.php, do login.php, logout.php, and we'll make one called no, we'll just call this posts.php. Okay, so we have our 5 pages. Now we're going to go to our MySQL database, and we're going to create a table in it called users with 4 fields. Now we're going to make just the usual ID field. It's going to be an integer, primary key, auto increment. We'll make a username. It'll be a varchar. It'll be no longer than, say, 25. We'll have an email. That'll be a varchar as well. We'll make that 100. Make that password of a varchar of 150 because we're going to be hashing it. We're going to have one more field to the end here. We're just going to put full name. And that'll be a varchar of 100. Okay, so we have username, email, password, full name. And that'll just be the information for all of our users. We'll hit save. So we'll go ahead and insert a test user. We'll call this jdoe. We'll make his email jdoe@gmail.com. His password will be muffinman, and we'll get to that in a second. And his full name is John Doe. Now we're going to be encrypting the password with a method called MD5. And if you want to do more research on that, you can. But we're just going to Google MD5 hasher, and we're just going to hit the first result. And in this box, we're just going to type muffin man, no spaces, hit MD5, and we're going to copy what shows up down here and paste it into our database. Let's copy that again. Copy, paste. Okay, so there's our hash, and it says muffin man in MD5. John Doe, Gmail, John Doe. And it'll fill this in automatically. If we go. Okay, there goes that. And so we have our usernames and everything set up. And now in here we're going to go back to our PHP files. And on our home page we're just going to go ahead and set up the basic PHP block here at the top. And we're going to say session_start. And then down below we're just going to set up the HTML, just the basic structure here. Basic CMS admin area. Add the header, body, and I cannot type today, geez. Okay, so we have that set up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go down into our body, and we're going to say PHP And we'll say, actually no, we'll do it up at the top. We'll just leave this for, delete that. So we'll go up here, and we're going to say is set underscore global variable session, and in this session we're going to say user. This hasn't been created yet, but once we finish the login page it will be. So if this is set, we're going to basically just echo the rest of the page. We're just going to echo the HTML page. And if it's not set, we're going to redirect to our login page. So we'll do a header, location, login.php. Save that. And now, if we go to our browser and try going to CMS/admin, it should redirect us to our login page because there's no session set. Progress. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to copy all of this and we're going to go to our login page. We're going to paste it right there. We're going to keep the session set. We're going to delete this. Going to delete this down here. And we're going to go up here and we're going to include our connection file. Actually, no, we're not. This is just going to be a form. So we're just going to go ahead and delete everything. So we're going to just create a form that a user will fill out to log in. So I'll say form action equals do login.php, and the method is going to equal post. We're going to go down a little bit. We're going to make a table within here. Normally I don't recommend using tables to organize page elements, but since it's a login form and we're trying to go through a tutorial quickly, I'll make an exception, but it's not really that big of a deal. First box will just say username, as usual. Secondary will say input, type equals text, name equals username. And we'll end that row, and then we'll go ahead and do the same thing. Ooh, input spelled wrong. Go ahead and copy this row. We'll repeat the same thing for the password. Let's change this to say password right here. And change the input type to password. Change the input name to password. Save it, and then we'll make another row. And we'll just go ahead and delete this first one. TD, and we'll make a col span 2 so it stretches out all the way. Set the align equal to right. And set the type to submit. Call this login. Give it a value of login. Okay, so we have our form set up. If we go and refresh Google Chrome, should see our form right here. But now, what are we going to do if a user is already logged in? Do we want them to see this form? No, we want to send them back to the home page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy this from the top. We're going to say if this is set, if the session user is set, we're going to say header, location, index.php. And we're going to say else, and we're just, if it is the other situation, we're just going to go ahead and echo out the entire form here. And that right there, we'll copy this, put it at the top of the body. Okay, so we have our basic structure set up for our login page, and it'll send all these variables over, username, password, and login. Now we're going to go to our do login page, and this is where all the magic's going to happen. So the first thing we want to do in our login page is we're going to see if all of our variables are set. So first we're going to check to see if our post login is set, and that's just the login button. Make sure that's pressed. If it is, we're going to say, okay, proceed to the next check. And the next check is going to be to say, check if the post username is set. we'll say if post password is set after the username, then we're going to go ahead and proceed to do the validation of the form. And here at the top, we're going to go ahead and include our functions.php file. And this functions file has the link to our connection file and any other functions we might need. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to say we'll say query equals MySQL query, and we're just going to say select all from users where username equals, I'm going to say MySQL underscore real escape string. I think it's string. Alright, and then inside here we're going to put our post variable username, and then we'll go ahead and close that query. Actually, there we go. Okay, so we'll close our query. We'll say or die MySQL error. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll say user equals MySQL underscore fetch underscore array. And then we're going to pass in that query variable. And after that, we're going to go down here, we're going to do an if statement, and we're going to say if MD5 post password equals our user password field, we're going to echo login successful and include, and we're going to create our session. We're going to do global variable session user equals user username. And then we'll set the header location to index.php, from which point that will take them to the regular thing. And we're going to say, in any other situation, we're going to echo please check your login details, and then we're going to include our login.php file. And then we're going to go back down here to our if the password isn't set. We're going to say, we're going to echo, we're just going to copy this block of code here. And we're going to say and then we'll do the same thing down here. We're going to say else say please check your username, and then the very last one we'll say else we'll say please check that you filled out the login form. Let's go ahead and add exclamation points to all these to express urgency. Okay, now that that's done, if we go back, actually, first we'll go to our home page, and we're just going to basically up here in our body, we're going to say, actually let's move these two blocks of code into the body. And in here we're just going to say the span saying logged in. And after that we'll say welcome. We'll do a PHP block and we'll say session user. We'll echo that. Okay. So now we have our login page set up, and basically the home page, you'll go to the admin home page, it'll say, okay, is this session set? And if it's not, it's going to go back and it's going to say, okay, let's log in. Take me to the login page. And if it is, it's going to show them this message with their username. And then if they're on the login page, they fill out this form, it takes them here to the do login page, it checks all of the variables, and then it goes through and it logs them in. Now we'll check here on our login page. And we'll type in JDO Muffin Man. Oh, we have a parse error. Line 5. Oh, we have an extra. We forgot the is set right here. So there was just a random thing right there. Same right here. Is set. Okay, there we go. Refresh. Continue. Expecting t-string a variable on line 7. I think that's because that space right there. Back, refresh, continue. Oh, you know, it's because we're trying to use a function in a query. So what we're going to do is we're just going to delete that. Right there. And now if we go back, refresh, continue. Actually put in our quotes. So many errors. Continue. Go back. JDO Muffin Man. Back here. Post. Did we spell username correctly? Yes, we did. Login. E string, T num string over here. Yar. Okay, well, so what we'll do is we'll copy this. We'll replace it with username, like that. And we're going to set a variable called username. We're going to set it equal to the post username value. Shouldn't make a difference, but we'll go through and try it again anyway. Okay, invalid username clause. There we go. There's the E. Okay, so our queries had a few bugs. We went through, fix this and this, fix that, refresh, and it redirected us to our login page. Oh, here's our problem. There's no session start variable at the top. We didn't start the session. So we need to go through at the top and start the session, or else this session start variable right here means nothing. So if we try logging in again, we do JDO login.php. I know, Muffin Man. Enter. There we go. Welcome, JDO. So we've gone through. We successfully logged in to the admin area. And in the next tutorial, we're going to go through listing all of the posts on one page and making it so you can edit, delete, and create new ones. So I'll see you guys then.